106. The Board of Trustees of the Harris County Department of Education is now convened in a board meeting on Wednesday, September 19th, 2018, in the boardroom at 6300 Irving Boulevard, Houston, Texas, at 1:06 p.m. I wish to extend a warm welcome to everyone present in this meeting of the Board of Trustees. As trustees, we are here to set goals, listen to reports from the superintendent, approve budgets, contracts, personnel appointments, and make policy for the district. It is not the role of the board to make day-to-day operational decisions. The management and day-to-day operations of the department are the responsibility of the superintendent. We have policies and procedures in place to resolve concerns and issues. This is a public meeting of the Board of Trustees, not a meeting of the public. Prior to this meeting, board members received information related to items on today's agenda. Agenda items will not necessarily be handled in the order listed on the notice. The meeting is open to all who wish to attend and hear the matters discussed. During the course of this meeting, the board may determine that a closed session is necessary. In that event, the board will meet in closed session to consider matters duly posted for this meeting as permitted by sections 551.071 to 551.084, inclusive of the Texas Government Code. I respectfully ask that you please refrain from talking while others are speaking and that cell phones are turned off or in silent mode. Thank you for taking the time this afternoon to join us and for your interest in the Harris County Department of Education. The invocation will be by Julia Andrews, Center for Safe and Secure Schools.
Good afternoon. We are meeting today to conduct matters of business, the business that you have so graciously given us the opportunity to do. Guide our hearts, our minds, and our actions in the spirit of fairness, right thought, and
one nation, God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state.
We put the visitors. I'm going to go ahead and do it now. Okay, I don't show that we have any visitors, but I have one person that's going to address the board. Ms. Vera, Colleen Vera. Ms. Vera, before you get started, just so everybody knows, Trustee Lee Carter is joining us by remote. You'll see her.
Okay, good afternoon. My name is Colleen Vera. I'm a retired teacher and a Harris County taxpayer. And I just came to ask for the next board meeting if you could have on the agenda a report about Fortis Academy. Last year y'all read it without any students and it cost the taxpayers over $1 million. This year you have 2 students and I did the document request and there are 2 students on the roll, not 6, which right now is costing the taxpayers over $50,000 per student to stay there for the year. So I think the taxpayers really deserve a report on what exactly is your plan for this. You've got teachers that you look at their schedules and they're only teaching 1 to 2 periods a day, yet they're being paid full-time teachers. And the Texas taxpayers are covering them in TRS for life. We really deserve to understand how long is this going to go on and what is the breaking point? When do you consider it not financially doable to keep this school open? It just seems like such a waste of money when there's so many things we could be doing out there with that money. So please put that on your next agenda and give a report to the public. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay, we now have an open forum. This is the public participation pursuant to policy BED. Local assistant wishes to speak may do so by completing. Oh, there you go. There that was Miss Greer. Okay, so Superintendent Monthly Report, James Colbert Jr.
Thank you, President. As you know, our schools have been open. I've had the opportunity to go out and visit some of our special campuses. They're in excellent condition. Our staff is vibrant and ready to go. Students are participating, and I'm very pleased with what I've seen. This week also, I've had an opportunity to go out to some of our Head Start campuses, and I started off in a bad mood yesterday and got in a better mood as soon as I got around the little 3- and 4-year-olds. Really, really vibrant educational environment. Kids are happy, but I also need to point out and just compliment the board that I've had at least 3 employees from our Head Start campuses stop me and thank me for their raise that they got. And so that's a testament of the collaborative effort of this board coming together to advocate for the people who advocate for children every single day. And so can't tell you how much I appreciate you in supporting them for that. Finally, last month, really since I've talked to you last, we've had a convocation. A gentleman by the name of Andre Chappelle, my brother, was able to accompany me during my speech to follow up on a speech that was given last year and talking about really the effects of people overcoming adversity, especially who've battled with substance abuse throughout their life and are exercising a life of sobriety. And so it was a very powerful and emotional opportunity for me to have a family member on stage and be able to speak to our staff. And actually the next day, he and his wife followed up with some professional development with our Fortis staff and was able to speak to them. And finally, I shared with y'all earlier that the theme of our convocation was Get Sized. And I was able to have an opportunity to explain exactly what that meant. I found out that several people thought that we had misspelled the word psych. Everybody came up and said, "You misspelled it, you misspelled it." But it's a term that, it's a motivational term that I have been exposed to as a child at 12 years old, growing up in the metroplex of the Washington, D.C. area, that, it's really a term of endearment where one would get focused, laser focused, and step up to any challenge that they're met with. And when I think of our employees at HCDE and I think of the direction that we're going, there's no question I think of getting sized. With that, that's all I have.
We're going to have an announcement of an award from the Association of School Business Officials International, ASBO, and Dr. Mesqua.
Yes, well, on page 16 of your packet and also on page 19, we've received the announcement from the Association of School Business Officials for the award on our comprehensive annual financial CAFR for both the Association of School Business Officials and the Government Finance Officers Association. For the ASBO award is the 14th year in a row that we received that, and the 16th year for the Government Finance Officers Association. The folks that are responsible for this are here in the audience, our business department, so I'd like to have them recognized. Would you guys stand up? In addition to that, in the next item is the receive of the annual achievement, or rather of excellence in procurement award for the National Procurement Institute. And we have this award, and I'd like to have the purchasing office stand up and be recognized for receiving the award for the second year in a row by the National Procurement Institute.
That took care of 5B, C, and D. Okay. Annual update on the HCDE Center for Safe and Secure Schools Division, Ecomet Burley. Where are you at?
He's not here.
He's not here. You don't look like Ecomet.
Thank you.
Shorter. A lot more hair.
Good afternoon, Superintendent Colbert, Board President Evans, and HCD trustees. My name is Julia Andrews, and I will be giving the report on behalf of the Director for Center for Safe and Secure Schools, Mr. Burley. Would you like me to present the presentation?
Sure.
Yes, please.
Thank you. I would first like to recognize our mighty team. We are a mighty team of 4. So 3 of us are here today. If you guys could please stand. Thank you. The Center for Safe and Secure Schools was established in 1999, unfortunately after the events in Columbine by Harris County Superintendent's request. So our center seeks to provide innovative opportunities to and continue to build safer and more secure learning environments. A few of our services that we like to highlight are school safety, facility, and security audits, ongoing opportunities for trainings on school threat assessment, active shooter, intruderology, and NIMS. We also focus on the social emotional learning side with restorative practices and trauma and resilience training. We have a brief recap video of our year of 2018, so our year in review. So that is our quick recap of a year in review. Next, moving on, we have 32 district memberships. They include suburban, urban, and rural school districts. And with that, if you see in your packet, they have several member benefits that include, but not limited to, discounted workshops, a seat on our board operations safety planning committee, weekly safety updates, and discounted school safety audits. So our list includes in-county from Aldine to Tomball ISD, and out-of-county we have 4, Dickinson, Friendswood, Liberty, and Waller ISD. County Emergency Management, and the United Way, just to name a few. Our trends and challenges include, 1, meeting the safety and security needs for all limited staff. Unfortunately, or fortunately, we are a mighty team of 4, so that is one of our challenges. A really good trend is we are expanding our offerings through various media outlets. We are proud that we have launched our professional development to webinars, so no one will have to leave their place of employment. They can just log on and get professional development right from their seat. And third, partnering with national and statewide organizations to provide trainings for districts. We are proud to announce that we will be presenting at 2 national conferences this year in Washington, D.C., along with a few local on the state level. Our client satisfaction rate continues to be at 91%. We are very proud of that. Our participants who attend our professional development and trainings are very satisfied with our work, so we're really happy about that. And lastly, looking ahead, just to highlight a few of our upcoming practices, we are going to service more of an internal support with our HCD schools and facilities, continue to provide the cutting edge trainings on professional development, and we are now tapping into the social and emotional learning side with restorative practices and trauma and resilience training. Are there any questions? Oh, thank you.
Actually, I do have one. I do have a question, thank you. First of all, I want to commend you on your efforts here in having safe and secure schools. It is a vitally important aspect of the Department of Education and the training that you're providing. I noticed that in your little brochure handout, you had on here save the date. Would you elaborate on that? And then I want to comment, if you would.
Okay, yes, sir. So our save the date, we have, we're in partnership with Children at Risk, and we will be hosting our human trafficking summit on November 13th. Registration will open in about a week, and we will bring in guest speakers. We are hosting in conjunction with Children at Risk for this event, and it talks about human trafficking, sex trafficking,
magnitude of this problem, and most people do not understand it. And there are a lot of organizations out there that that help combat human trafficking. Is so rampant and yet so quiet, that people,
Yes.
I don't know whether they just want to overlook it or what, but it is for the most, it hits the most vulnerable people of our young
Absolutely.
and youth in this county. And those that are less advantaged and those that run away from home get caught in
Yes,
this,
sir.
so that to get involved or to give to. And thank you. And thanks again.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Update on the HCDE Teaching and Learning Center. Frances Watson Hester.
Good afternoon.
Hello.
Yes, thank you. Again, good afternoon. I am Frances Hester, the proud Senior Director of the Teaching and Learning Center. Thank you, trustees and Mr. Colbert, for this opportunity to share our annual report. A copy has been provided for you at your desk. Is it okay that I present our annual report at this time?
Go ahead.
Awesome. I must pause for just 1 second because none of the work that I share with you today would be possible without the expertise of a dynamic team. So at this time, I would like to have the Teaching and Learning Center staff please stand, and let's please acknowledge them. They are incredible. Thank you very much. The focus of the Teaching and Learning Center is to improve student achievement one teacher at a time. We have an array of services and programs, some that I've listed for you. We focus on professional development in the area of math, science, social studies, behavior management, and some of our programs are the National Leadership Speaker Series, Subject Area Leadership Meetings, and the Leadership Summit. Our impact on student achievement: 4 to 6 weeks after each workshop is conducted, attendees receive a survey to complete. From that survey, we've been informed that the trainings are used within 1 month, and the report shows that 81.2% of participants actually go back in the classroom and use the information within 1 month. We have several highlights, but for today I will highlight 2. Our digital education and innovation area that's facilitated by David McGarry and Lanice Hockaday. We held our first ever K-12 cybersecurity event or conference, and at that conference we had my teachers on with professional development. So I want to highlight math. Nicole Shanahan has done an excellent job at focusing on creating workstations called Make and Takes, and teachers have the opportunity to take the Make and Takes back into the schools immediately and begin the work. We're actually focusing on the new accountability system, and our area of focus is to address students or help students that are at the approaches, meets, and also at the master's level. Our Scholastic Art and Writing Awards. HCDE has proudly served as a regional sponsor for the Scholastic at HCDE, and it was a collaborative effort. We were able to focus on meeting the needs of 565 students throughout the county. The focus was STEM, so students had an opportunity, or they were encouraged to set goals, initiate steps to achieving their goals, identifying intrinsic and extrinsic barriers, and becoming empowered to move past obstacles to achievement. TLC provided services to 103 entities, which included all 25 school districts in Harris County. We also served 52 districts outside of Harris County and 26 other organizations such as charter schools, private schools, and universities. TLC surpassed its goal this year at 90% for client satisfaction. We actually were at 97%. Service rating details: we had 4 noted strengths this year. The session has useful applications for my professional work at 99%. The sessions were well organized at 99%. Overall effectiveness was high, and the presenter is knowledgeable about the topic. Our 32nd annual R.T. Garcia Early Childhood Winter Conference, again, was a huge success. We had 22 Harris County districts that participated, 27 districts outside of Harris County, 9 private schools and charter schools, 1,000 professional learning opportunities. We want to continue to provide indirect and direct services to students and children. And as of now, we're working towards providing trainings on social emotional learning and cultural responsiveness in schools. We're also excited about our wraparound pilot to support school districts or schools that are struggling with the A through F accountability system. Our trends and challenges, workshop attendance and contracts continue to grow in spite of budget cuts. Districts are still hiring our our directors to come out and work with them instead of hiring additional staff. And the Teaching and Learning Center endeavors to identify and provide unique and high-need services for clients to address the current trends and challenges in education. Do you have any questions at this time? Thank you.
We don't have a report from the Board Feasibility Subcommittee this month. Do we have any other reports from board members concerning attendance or participation in any conference, event, activity, or committee accolades? Yes, ma'am.
I was happy and proud to help represent HCDE with the rest of the HCDE delegation at the State of the County luncheon this week, along with President Lewis Evans.
Anybody else? All right, thank you.
I have a question
Yes,
for Jesus, actually. Jesus, I'm looking at the tax rate numbers, and can you remind me what is the?
Michael, let's do that when we get to it. Let's do it. It's an agenda item. We'll get to that in just a minute.
All right.
Okay. Anybody else have any other reports or anything? No? Okay. Monthly financial reports through 8/31 of 18. Jesus Musqua, Dr. Musqua.
Okay. The financial highlights and the detail is also included in your packet. So we will review the financial report as of August 31st, preliminary, and also the budget amendment report for the month of September. All our information is posted on our website. Our balance sheet as of August 31st, again, it is interim, but preliminary, is assets of $33,682,364. Liabilities of $1,915,733, and equity and appropriated fund balance of $33,683,364. Our fund balance at this point in time is non-spendable $163,555, restricted, committed at $1,575,000, assigned $8,078,379. Unassigned, $16,671,140. Again, this is unaudited. Once we've finalized the audited figures, we'll bring that to you for approval at the January meeting. Our financial ratios, as of August 31st, we were at a percentage of fund balance to expenditures ratio, we're at 35% versus 30% we were at the same time last year. Working capital ratio, 32 million versus 29 a year ago. Unassigned fund balance ratio, 49%, same as the year before. Debt to income ratio, we're at 7% versus 8% last year. Tax revenue to total revenue ratio, we're at 25% versus 23% at the same time last year. Indirect cost ratio, 3%, same as the year before. Fee for service ratio, we're at 23% versus 21% a year ago. fee-for-service growth ratio, we're at 1% versus 3% last year. Given that we had Harvey part of the August of last year, we didn't grow as fast as we did a year ago in terms of our service revenue. Our budgeted activity, our amendments are outlined by month. Our revenues year to date, we're at general fund 96%, special revenues 56%, debt service 100%. Overall, we're at 78% budget to actual. Overall, we're at 72% of budget to actual and encumbrances. So we're in the process of clearing out the encumbrances for the year so that we can present the reports to the auditors and they can review as part of their annual audit for the year. Our donations year to date, we're at $8,123.37 in cash have been certified, have been $434 billion, and $1 billion still remains uncertified. So we were projecting to end up the year at $435 billion for last year. The collections year to date, we've collected $22,437,294, 99% of the overall budget. Which is, we had some refunds that basically we did not realize, some of the delinquent tax, and also some, so we are checks, 481 transactions and 7 transfers. And the detail of all those, the payroll register, the check register is posted on our website. Segment division for selected divisions. Educational certifications, minus 384,200. Records management, 207,148. Therapy services, 1,816,622. And schools at 2,876,886. Choice partners is at a positive variance of 64% ratio, and so the benefit variance is 3,277,726 in terms of our choice and enterprise activity. Our amendments for the month are only for grants for 316,758, and these are additional cost changes or rollover changes from last year. 315,902 in our Head Start program, Head Start training 51,111. And then 30,000 for early Head Start program operations. So a total of 316,000 amendment for our grants. Construction update, we are scheduled to advertise on Monday, September the 24th. We have year to date $10,735,029 of earned interest and bond proceeds. And our projection is that November 2018 that we'll be able to go to the PFC board and award the contract for AB West. So September 24th will be when we first start the advertising, and then the following Monday we'll do the same, and then we'll receive the bids or proposals rather, and then award tentatively in November 2018, and then 12 months after that for construction. Questions on the first part of the report?
This is Trustee Carter. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear? Yeah. How stable are the fees, the HCAD and tax office fees from year to year for tax collection?
Of our tax levy is, and in terms of everybody else that they're collecting as well. So they have to recalculate every year, and they let us know how much is the adjustment for the year. So because there are a lot of entities that they collect for. So I think last year it went up, I want to say about $20,000 to $30,000. I mean, it's not a go.
He's talking about percentage, not the dollar amount. He wants to know the percentage.
The percentages, okay.
Like the
we get a
percentage that they
report from
charge
them.
us.
We get a report from them that calculates the percentages, but I focus primarily on the dollar amount to figure out how much we need to adjust the budget for that. But I can give you the percentage of the overall.
Well, he wants to know what the Harris County Appraisal District charges HCDE to collect the tax.
Right, that's the 164,000 so far. The percentage, yeah.
Can I interject here, because I have knowledge, personal knowledge of how this is done? For the appraisal district, they pass their annual budget, and then they, in effect, divide their annual budget by the taxable values of the districts to come up with the cost per district. For the tax department, they have as far as I know of, they have not changed the percentage of their charge of the amount of taxes collected for several years now. When I was there, we had a large study of what would be a reasonable fee to charge, and they were adjusted at that time. So it is a fixed percentage of the amount of the collections.
Thanks, Don. Anybody else? Okay, Dr. Muska.
Under our investments, again, rates continue to climb up, or inch up, rather. Our investment rate in our tax pool, and some of it in Bank of Texas and JP Morgan Chase. And as the rates go up, it's just slightly under at 2.009. So you can see in this chart basically that the rates have been steadily going up about 5 to 10 basis points each month. And so because we keep our monies in cash, we're climbing the ladder as the rates are going up. There'll be a point in time that they'll reach, and then that's when we'll extend and bring different recommendations at that time. Question?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
We're now going to look at action items, consensus. Do I have any reservations? Reservations first, and then we do motions. Yeah.
I would like to
B3.
What is it?
Sorry.
That's her.
Oh. Hi. I thought I was looking over Diane, and you're talking. That's okay. Erica, go ahead. What'd you want?
B3, B as in boy, 3.
Gotcha.
And B1 and 3? What?
We're going to reserve 3 twice. Item B, 6B1. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Got a motion. Do I have a second? Got a second. Do I have any discussion? Hearing none, let's have a vote. All in favor, please raise your hand. All opposed? All abstaining? Okay, so I got 5-4, 2 abstaining. Okay, on B3, may I have a motion?
So moved.
Got a motion?
Second.
Got a second? Do I have any discussion? Okay, all in favor, please raise your hand. Okay, all abstaining? All opposed? Okay, are you abstaining or opposing? Items non-consensus, which will be 7A. Do I have a motion?
I have a motion.
Got a motion from Mr. Wolf, Trustee Wolf. Do I have a second?
So moved.
Well,
Second.
My motion is to adopt the rate that we're bringing the same amount of revenue as last year.
So did you have a motion to amend?
So you want a motion to amend?
No motions on the table, and so there's nothing to amend, but
Make a comment.
Yeah, while we're waiting on Jesus, would you like to
Yeah.
say something? I guess we gotta wait till we're not to the comment section yet.
Can I be second in line for a comment?
You can. Okay, can I get a second while Jesus does the calculation?
I'll give it, I didn't already second, but I will second.
Okay, so we have a motion. We're waiting on the amount, so that now we have a second. Now we can have discussion. Dr. Moore.
Well, I appreciate lowering the tax rate. I have no problem with that. But my concern is before we vote on something, I want to make sure that he's done the math correct and that we've had some time to look at it. I mean, not necessarily to look at it, but that he gets the right calculation. I don't want to have to come back and say we've got the wrong calculation. So I just ask that, maybe this needs to be delayed to the end of the meeting or it's
So you
pulled
want to
it back.
delay this? We can skip to this and go to another one?
And go to another one until we get the
we
right
waiting?
rate. I don't want to just,
That's fine with me.
Okay. You, second line?
Thank you, Mr. President. What I would like to bring to the board's attention is that the board approved a budget back in July, was it? And if the board accepts a tax rate lower than the one that we are proposing, it's going to put us in a $750,000 budget deficit. And so the board would then be taking our entire budget and putting it in an projected tax rate that we have had a tremendous amount of discussion about that we were going to bring to the board. It's kind of like changing the playbook right at the Super Bowl, and so I would just encourage the board to give that significant thought because we might send the organization into a tailspin.
Yes, ma'am.
I propose we go ahead and take the vote on this, and as our superintendent said, we've already voted on a budget. It's a little late in the game to be changing things, and I don't want to put in jeopardy in any of our programs for children as well.
I think
I got Trustee Carter Lee. Trustee Erica, go ahead.
Yes, thank you, President Evans. Trustee Wolf, I note that you were at the special meeting when the tax rate was discussed. I received the slides afterwards last week so I could review them. I'm not sure why you didn't bring this up to Jesus.
gotta believe. So that's changed, Jesus.
It is 750,000 when you compare the 22.6 in this spreadsheet and to 23.3.
So
It's
what-
750.
Excuse me, Trustee Wolf, that is not the question. The question I'm asking, what
Column D versus column A to column D in the calculation. So the 500,000 is the 5167 column that you have on there in your calculation. So the rate for $500,000 will be 5167. For 750, it will be close to 5150.
All right.
Superintendent was next, then you.
Yes, sir, thank you. Just a couple things, and I want to piggyback off of some comments that were already made. First of all, I just want to remind the board that I believe, is this the 4th or the 5th year we have gone below the effective tax rate, which is unprecedented. This has been a fiscally responsible, and I would dare say even conservative, and been a good steward of taxpayer dollars, and that has been demonstrated, and we are attempting to do that again. So there's been no wasted spending as far as I'm concerned with Harris County Department of Ed. We've done the right thing, and that even people who have been adversaries to the department have given us accolades for being responsible with the tax rate. The second thing is to piggyback off of what Dr. Moore mentioned, is this is not a 10-minute decision. I mean, this board has been...
I've been mentioning this for several months.
I'm sorry, I thought it was my turn to talk.
Well, you're saying it's 10 minutes and it's been months.
Michael, let him finish, then I'll let you talk.
And so this board has held administration very much accountable for seeking out and finding the employees and the constituents who utilize the services here. And so I'm not sure why we're wanting to do this. I think we're doing what's fiscally responsible and the conservative thing to do. And I would just ask the board to support administration in improving the tax rate that's been proposed.
Go ahead.
Is this something that that has to be done today? When I say it has to be done today, it can't be postponed to the next board meeting?
What's the...
I'm just
Dr.
asking.
Mesco, isn't there a county, or Mr. Sumner, isn't there county implications on the tax rate for September?
Yeah, there is a time.
Are we kind of stuck at?
Wait until Jesus came up with the rate. I'd be happy to help him verify that rate. And I think that we had already decided that we were going to move on at this point. because we do have a motion before the board that was seconded, and we need to find out what that rate is. In Michael's defense, for several months now, he has been asking what that rate was, and he has never gotten an answer.
Well, I think the answer's changed.
Well, it doesn't matter if it's changed or not. You haven't ever gotten a answer at any point in time.
Okay, well, Michael, you had something you want to say?
I moved to call the question.
Well, I got some other people in line.
Yeah, we have a lot of people in line.
And after they do it, then I will entertain your motion. So, Trustee Lee, Carter, Erica.
Thank you, President. Thank you, President Evans. First, I didn't agree to wait till that number. Trustee Wolf has done many agenda items during his tenure on the board. If he had wanted to have that rate in the agenda, it was for 4 months. So to be like, oh, let's change it. Taxpayers who are watching online, they're expecting us to vote on a rate. This has been publicized. We had a special meeting. Jesus has worked on this. Our budget was based on it. I think this is completely irresponsible, especially when the range has gone from 500,000 to 750,000, and you don't even know what might have to be cut. You're saying it's a Hurricane Harvey, but there are many other things that might have to be cut.
We've got plenty of money.
And as far as I'm concerned, the Hurricane Harvey wasn't completely
Trustee
zeroed
Wolf.
out. We just wanted more information. We just didn't approve it at the last time it came up. We didn't say we're not doing it at all. This is very irresponsible.
Okay, and then now, Diane, you're next.
I would concur with Trustee Carter. This is fiscally irresponsible. And the vote we are about to take.
Still want to put that up?
Yes.
Okay. Got a motion to call the question. Do I have a second?
Second.
Got a second. Okay, all in favor, raise your hand. All opposed?
We need to renege on, because we're
Reserves.
Right. Okay.
yeah.
And the other thing I would say is anything that would want to do that wouldn't be there because we reduced the tax rate could come out of reserves as well. And additionally, that's all I've got to say.
Okay.
I didn't understand that last part.
He said that if we take $700,000 away from your budget today, you have $750,000 you could have used for the Harvey. You could now take it out of reserve for whatever you do.
That's a bad business model. So we're just going to take money, because if
That's what you're going to do for that other
so the
item.
tax rate, that's a systemic change, and so our reserve is situational. And so we cut the tax rate $750,000, then ultimately the overall budget of the department drops $750,000. Anything that needs to be supplemented that we choose to support and taking that out of fund balance, that is not a good business model at all.
Number. And I think the problem, I agree with Trustee Moore, is that if Jesus does a quick calculation and it's wrong, it could be very detrimental.
Can we
to
move
the
this vote
department.
to the end of the meeting?
You know, I mean, if we're gonna consider this, we need to either vote it up or vote it down or postpone it. So the problem is that can I bring it to a vote without having a number? What's our board attorney say? Okay.
Can we move the vote to the end of the meeting?
We're gonna have to postpone.
An actual number. Right. I mean.
We're gonna have to postpone 7A to right before the executive session to give Dr. Mesco a chance to do his, at least tell us whether he has a number we can do.
To reassure the board, that number is not that hard to arrive at.
Well, right now we don't have it, so. Okay, but what I'm gonna do is we're gonna postpone A. I'm not gonna do 7A right now. I'm going to go to 7B. Anybody object?
No.
All right.
Sorry, technically in accordance with Robert's rules, you can't leave a pending motion open
So
like
what
that.
would you like me to do?
And so the easiest answer is for Mr. Wolf and Mr. Dick to agree to withdraw the motion at this.
Assembly. Do I have a motion? Got a motion, I got a second.
That was a good volunteer.
But you did say you liked Austin.
I do like Austin.
Okay.
I'm open to it.
All right, so we're.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll go to Austin. I like Austin.
Okay. All right. Consider acceptance of the notice of award for early Head Start child care Partnerships, EHS-CCP, from the Department of Health and Human Services, HSS, Administration for Children and Families. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Got a motion, do I have a second? Got a second. Mr. Dick was the motion, Dr. Troutman was the second. Do I have any discussion?
Yes. Do we think this will be the last extension, or do we have a?
We're getting Ms. Peacock.
Thank you.
Anybody else have any other questions? Okay, all in favor, please raise your hand. Motion passes 7-0. List of teacher appraisers for the schools division. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Got a motion by Mr. Dick. Got a second by Dr. Moore. Any discussion? All in favor, please raise your hand. Okay, 7-0. Consider approval of service contracts for the job number 15/053 KJ for Choice Partners consulting services with the following vendors. And there's, do I need to read this? Okay. All in favor? Oh. I need a motion first.
So moved.
Got a motion. Got a second. Got a motion by Mr. Dick. I got a second by Dr. Troutman. Any discussion? All in favor, please raise your hand. Passes 7-0. Consider approval service contract for job number 18/034 MR for Choice contracted services with the following vendors. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Got a motion by Mr. Wolf. Second. Got a second by Mr. Dick. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Motion passes 7-0. All right, Mr. Musco, we're either going to have to postpone it after executive session, or you're on. Are you ready for us? Huh? Let's do it after executive session? Okay. We're going to postpone 7A to be visited after executive session. So therefore, we're going to go into executive session now. Okay, under the Texas Government Code, pursuant to any and all purposes permitted by sections 551.001 through 551.084, including but not limited to 551.071 and 551.074. It is now 2:12, and we are adjourned to executive session. It's 3 o'clock and we are back in session. Just so everybody knows what I'm going to do is I know the first few things that on the agenda will go, I think, fairly quickly, and then I will go back and revisit the one we had to postpone till afterwards. Okay? Okay, so 8A, the employment of the assistant principal at High Point East and the nurse at ABS East and High Point School. 9A. These glasses are driving me crazy. 9A. Motion on 9A.
So moved.
Got a motion by Mr. Dick. Do I have a second? Second by Dr. Troutman. Do I have a discussion? Okay, all in favor, please raise your hand. Motion passes 7-0. All right, so we're going to go back and look at, I believe it's 7A. Is that correct? All right, so we're going to go back now and look at 7A.
Louis,
Yes, sir.
I'd like to move to postpone that until the October board meeting.
I have a motion to postpone. Do I have a second?
Second.
Got a second by, got a motion by Mr. Wolf. I got a second by Mr. Dick. Do I have a discussion? There's a surprise. Go ahead.
Dr. Amesco, what implications would that make to our current budget and even the staffing patterns at our campuses if we postpone the approval of the tax rate to October?
Well, the impact would be approximately $672,000 from what we projected into our budget. And so to address that, then we'd have to do a combination of reduction in force, a combination of cutback, public hearing.
August.
Yeah. So,
The middle of October might be before the next board meeting.
October 17th is the next.
Are we going to put together some budget workshops to discuss what the implications of any of the tax rates would be? I want to prevent from coming back in another board meeting and hearing and calculating a tax rate on your phone or your computer, that has implications towards taxpayer dollars. So will we be having budget workshop sessions? How would that work?
I would think if we postpone it, we need to do something other than just postpone.
Well, Don, you're the
Mr. Wolf,
budget
what do you
chairman,
have
right?
in mind?
Yeah, I like that idea.
I think obviously that if we're going to consider a different rate, then that we'd have to consider maybe amending the budget.
Are you talking about people's livelihood here? Just go ahead and say it, Michael and Don.
That's not
You're
true.
talking about people losing jobs.
That is not accurate whatsoever.
That's not necessarily true.
Necessary.
I think that we're
Just for a point of clarification, you said what that exact number was. Can you say that again?
672,000. 672,000.
Is what we would be cutting from our approved budget? What's that equate to? I would imagine if we withdrew that from the budget, subtract that from the budget, what would be the areas that you think we would probably cut?
I think that's what a budget workshop is for, isn't it, Jesus?
There would be a
I'm
combination
just asking
of
a
things.
point of clarification.
Yeah, we'd have to identify what are some of the major areas that we'd be able to target. Obviously, in any budget, the largest item is payroll, being personnel.
Percent?
Yes.
Yeah.
So you couldn't just do supplies or other things without affecting somewhat payroll.
So just based on memory, I know when the board approved the budget this summer, that ultimately there were a number of positions that were approved in that budget, and we moved forward with filling those positions. I'm going to assume that if we go backwards and subtract $670,000 from the budget, we would probably have to get board approval to implement a RIF to terminate those people?
I believe that there is a timeline, and I'm looking at HR, because in order to adopt a RIF, there's some certain timelines that you have to provide notice that before you adopt that. I'm not sure that we're beyond that time at this point in time.
Would the board need to approve for us to go into financial exigency to do that?
It'd be a program change or a
Right.
financial exigency under a reduction.
But you could address that at any budget workshop we have, right, Jesus?
Yes, but there's some timelines in terms of notice that are required to be provided to staff or to the personnel. in order to do that.
Hang on, Erica wants to say something.
President Evans, yes. I cannot understand why we've had a 4-month board budget process. The staff has had a 6-7 month. And at the 7th hour, 11th hour, below the effective, which I normally don't even vote for because Harvey, the property values for Harvey, the government is always delayed. Probably next year, the values will be less and there'll be some challenges. And the superintendent might have to propose the effective. I have no idea. This is completely political. It's completely outrageous.
And just for
Y'all can vote for it if you want, but this is embarrassing.
All right, Trustee Dick?
I don't necessarily support it. I just don't want to, vote on something without having more information on it.
I agree.
That's all.
Question?
Sir? You're calling the question?
Yes, please.
All right. So all in favor of, I need a second.
We have to vote on calling the question.
Do I have a second? Second. Got a second. So now to call the question. All in favor of calling the question, please raise your hand. I got one. All opposed? Okay. So motion fails.
Mr. Summers, how did you vote?
How'd you vote? All abstaining? He's abstaining. So we have 5, 1, and 1. All right, so where are we at now? We're still discussing, or we?
Discuss. The motion on the table is whether to postpone to the.
Motion's on the table, whether to postpone. Do we want to? Okay, hi, go ahead. We need to do whether we're going to postpone it or not.
I don't think we've ever heard Trustee Wolf answer the question, why? Why out of all of this? Why, not why now, but why? What is it that you want to cut?
That's what a budget workshop would be for. I've been asking about this for about 3 or 4 months now.
No.
And we haven't gotten the answers. That's what I want the budget workshop
You're the
for.
only one. You're the only one that's bringing this up.
That's
so
not
what
true.
Is it? Well, you're the only one
Well,
that's voicing
I
it.
will say that he has asked for this for several months, and he has not been given this information.
Okay, I've got that. He's asked for it. But why? Why do you want to, what is it that you think
I don't
needs
think
to be
there's
cut?
anything that's necessary for us to collect $672,000 more than last year.
You want to cut?
We can use budget reserves if we have to.
What do you want to cut?
That's what a budget workshop is for.
To answer the question because you know this is a political stunt, just like everything
No, you're
else
being
you do.
political by saying what you're saying right now.
Okay, folks, let's keep it civil.
I said question.
All right, anybody else have anything besides pointing fingers at each other? No? All right, yes, sir?
The rate that has been asked for is 0.005090.
Let's say that again.
0.005090, which would yield 672,000 less when we do the math. At 98.9% collection, assumes 100% of the value to be certified. So basically, all the certification, 98.9% collections, and to do that, it would be 0.005090, which is one tick below the recommended.
Okay. All in favor of postponing, please raise your hand. All opposed? Okay. Motion fails, 4-3, or 3-4. Okay. So we're now back on the rate. So would you please discuss the rate? We have a motion for that rate. We were just waiting for the number. Michael made a motion.
The rate is right here. It's 0.0050.
That was what Michael
So I
made
move
that-
to adopt the rate of .005090.
And we had a second by Don earlier. We were,
No, that
withdrew it.
that was
Okay.
a second by Eric earlier.
Are you still seconding it? Still second. So we have the motion for this rate, which is $672,000 less than we currently have budgeted for. We have a second. Do I have any discussion? Hearing no discussion. All in favor, please raise your hand. All opposed? All abstaining.
Was that two abstentions?
I couldn't see where Don
Don,
went.
what did you vote?
Okay, so we have four, so we have 1 for, 2 abstentions, 4 against. So it fails.
So now we're back to the original.
Now we're back to the original motion, or back to the original one.
There's no motion now.
Now we need to see about having a motion. Do I have a motion for 7A?
I'm,
.005190 as according to the agenda item we have. Is that correct?
Yes. That's my motion. Oh,
And the effective rate, just so everybody knows, the effective rate was calculated at .005279. Okay? Any questions? Any other discussion? All in favor, please raise your hand.
That methodically, we do discuss that, and I think at next year's workshop, we definitely need to look at different alternatives, whether we adopt them or not, but it needs to be done in the workshop and not at last minute that we come and make changes.
Well, I would like to see, if Mr. Wolf, you know, I know this thing is, we passed it, but if you have some concerns about some expenditures or whatever, then why don't we have a budget meeting of some sort, and we can certainly go back and look and see as far as what we feel would be prudent for the department. If we could see some areas to cut, then that would be something we could do. Okay, so I think that would be something we could look at. But you know, I think today we did what we passed it, but I would like to go back and let's look. And I said, and I know Don, you're the tax guy, and so why don't we work with Jesus and let's put something together so we can see, you know, because we don't want to hurt, we've given raises, we don't want to hurt the department, but we also don't want to hurt taxpayers.
Right.
I mean, we're being, I think, responsible by both passing, but also let's go
Right.
back and look at our
Sure.
numbers one more time.
Sure.
All right.
There was a question about the rate for the allocation ratio for collection of the taxes, and that's the rate right there, .0019500012, which is less.
The year, for tax year 2012, the tax rate was changed on the very last day at the meeting.